see right through the whole way right there, so I can get out of there. Good, how you doing?
Good. Just checking on you. Media or?
Yep, press. Open press.
Alright, we got to move you to the other side of the tape though, unfortunately, just to the outer part.
I didn't see any tape where I came through.
Okay, well I will escort you back over to the tape then. We'll be all good.
Alright.
So appreciate it, man.
Then.
We are going to grab your quick contact info just like we did for him. Okay, well then I'll detain you and put you in the back of the police car.
Then go ahead.
Okay, cool. Let's walk to that car over.
Because remember, look, I can walk you back where I came through. If there's tape, then I'll give you my ID.
Okay, well that's fine. I'm going to identify you anyways.
You're not going to identify me.
Okay.
I have a right to say my amendment, to keep my papers and things secure.
Sure.
And I had no ID on me for one. I don't care.
Well, I have other ways.
And I can walk. See now, look. Now can I go behind that tape?
You have these things called prints that are on all of your fingertips, and you have California ID
at this point,
DL.
At this point, let me get a supervisor.
Okay, we'll get to that later. I don't need to present you one now.
I'm not giving my ID.
So you made your way into our crime scene. I understand because you went through some stairs or
right there
under the opening down there of the wood.
Nope, there's some stairs right here through here. Now with that up, now you're allowing me to go back through there.
Nope, because when I am talking and you're talking, you can't listen. Just like I wouldn't talk over you, I will be quiet. I will shut up in about 30 seconds and listen to everything you have to say, and I will not interrupt you. So I just ask that you do the same. Give me about 30 seconds, okay?
All right, go ahead.
All right. So I understand that there was not a piece of tape there. There now is. Nothing in this world is perfect, right? Other than you. I'm sure your mom thinks you're perfect, just like my mom thinks I'm perfect, right?
True.
I'm a goof, right? We like to be silly. If we're not having fun, joking a little bit when professional, then we're doing something wrong, right? But this is a very serious matter, and so is our crime scene.
Yes.
And with that, the point I am trying to make is, albeit as unintentional as you may think it is, you made your way into our crime scene. I don't fault you for that. You're not in any sort of legal or criminal trouble. We're not trying to hold you accountable.
All right, then clearly,
it's just part of our procedure is to document any and every one who comes into a crime scene. Even cops, us, our chief, our mayor, the president of the United States walks into our crime scene. They cannot leave until we identify who they are. Obviously, we know the president and mayor are, right? But I don't know who you are, right? So it's simple as that. I'm not running you for warrants. I'm not running you for probation or parole status. I could not care less about that, right? So we can sit here and play like this I'm not going to identify myself thing all night, and that is absolutely fine. Because after 3, I hit overtime, and we will take you down to jail, we will fingerprint you, we will identify you, we'll run you through facial recognition software. There is no need to do any of that. Because you identify yourself, I confirm valid ID, and you are on your way. And you are more than happy to film to your heart's content outside of our scene.
Now, can I go?
Absolutely. I know I talked for more than 30 seconds, so I'm all ears.
All right, so California State Penal Code 148G allows me to record anywhere open in public. Now, I'm going to go in to say that at this point, yes, there is now tape put up.
Sure.
Now, at that time, I walked through an open hallway, an open area. If there was tape, I would have not walked through here.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think you're a bad guy.
Now, at this point, I do have the Fourth Amendment to secure my own papers and ID unless I've committed a crime. Now.
Okay, I'm sorry, go.
If there's a crime that I have committed, I will give you my ID. Okay. But unfortunately, as I see it fit, I walked through an open hallway. There wasn't no tape. I standed right here and recorded from distance.
Sure.
Now,
you weren't interfering with anything.
Now, if you want to give me a supervisor, because I'd rather, to everybody, and this is not to me, but to everybody that's going to watch this video, I'm going to get hammered if I hand you my ID.
Sure. No, I get that you have an audience, you have a reputation to uphold and maintain.
No, it's just straight up.
Amongst your audience.
Straight up. No, the audience doesn't believe in our amendment rights.
If nothing else, I am a staunch defender of everyone's rights, citizen or not, man, woman, child. Absolutely.
All right, well, at this point, I want to request your supervisor before I hand any information over, because at this point, I will feel violated if I hand you. Yeah. I will feel violated by you violating my civil rights, by forcing me giving you my ID, by threatening arrest.
Oh, definitely not threatening arrest. No. But at some point, we may start flirting with the 148 resist, obstruct, delay line. But I got all night. I'm not trying to press you.
And at this point, I rather just request your supervisor. Okay. And if your supervisor does demand, and he does see a clear law that I did break, I will give you my ID.
Okay. So a couple things. Circling back. So as I had mentioned earlier, nothing in this world is perfect, right?
Sure. And no one's perfect.
Sure. No, not at all. And to that point, no crime scene tape, job is ever going to be perfect either, right?
True.
Especially as vast and wide open space such as the boardwalk in Old Sacramento, right? You got nooks, crannies, boardwalks, railroad things, garbage disposal areas, walkways, elderly handicap ramps, wheelchair, you name it, right?
Yes.
And so as we figure out that there are faults in our crime scene tape, we will rectify those issues happily, as we did with that.
And yes, and I believe asked that you go by law, and if I did pass that tape at that point, then I would have to give my ID.
Sure.
And now I please ask you just let me walk out the way I did, or walk me out the tape without IDing myself.
Okay.
Because that's the way at that point I did not break any tape, and now no one's perfect. You might have missed it.
Sure.
I'm not harming nothing. I'm clearly ID'd.
I'm not worried about you.
And
I'm a reasonable person.
And at this point, I'm just asking you just let me walk out, saying, hey, you are in a secure crime scene. Well, now you seem you clearly fixed the problem or where I came from. Let me go.
So hopefully we can do just that. But I will not do that until I defer that request, that question, that inquiry to my sergeant. If he or she says, you know what, given the facts and circumstances, we're not worried about identifying him, then so be it. But I don't get paid to make those decisions.
All right, now at this point, like I said, I want to request your supervisor to request that.
Sure,
and
absolutely. We are working our way to that.
Before you try to put me in the back of a police car.
I'm not just going to put you in cuffs and jam you in the back of a police car. I'm also nothing if not reasonable.
Like I said, I'll sit right here.
Just make yourself comfortable.
There we go.
The other thing I was going to say is I wouldn't be, I guess, kind of accusing you of committing a crime, right? There are different levels of, shall I say, well, I guess we just touch on reasonable suspicion, touch on probable cause, right? And with that, you only need certain things to be able to articulate or establish a detention, right?
Yes.
You don't need probable cause for detention. You don't. Flat out. A lot of people incorrectly think you do. What do you need for a detention? Reasonable suspicion, right? So, i.e., reasonable suspicion that crime is afoot. Well, I'm not necessarily under the impression that crime's afoot. However, whenever we have established a crime scene, we have the standing order, policy general order, that we shall identify those who enter our crime scene, okay? I'll give you my name, my badge, and everything. I'll smile for you. I want to make sure you get the mustache good because it is amazing. I'm kidding. Right?
I have an update for you, sir.
Here we go. We may be able to just walk you out.
Yeah. So I spoke to my supervisor over the air. He is extremely busy, as you may know. It's a very large crime scene. Yeah. He's trying to manage it right now. So he has approved that we do not need to identify you, but we ask that you please leave our crime scene.
All right, walk me out of the scene then. I'm going to do that.
Absolutely.
Walk me out of the scene.
I really do appreciate you being willing to talk to me. Okay.
All right. Thank you for letting me ID myself, and thank you for verifying with your sergeant.
I'm not going to violate anybody's, civil liberties or freedoms, okay, sir? All right, sir.
Thank you.
Here you go. You have a better rest of your night.
I'm going to go out this one so I don't have to... Yeah, I got detained. I can't... All right, hold on. I can't hear you. I need to get out this crime scene tape. They taped me in already. I'm getting out of the crime scene because they already taped me in.